I failed, you guys. I failed. I didn't post on YouTube every single day as I said I was going to, but life happens, and I just realized it was a guideline, a structure, not an expectation. So I'm still going to keep trying to do it, even though that doesn't fully make sense because I already kind of failed. Whatever, right? Like I tried my best, and my best got me to posting like 4 times in a row or 5 times in a row, and then I dropped off for a bit and was working a lot, and now I'm back. And so that's all that matters, right? We set a goal, and if we don't achieve the goal, instead of shaming ourselves and judging ourselves, we just continue to move towards it slowly but surely. So I'm back on YouTube. And I actually want to talk about failure because I feel a lot towards the word failure. It feels like a really intense word. And it also feels like a really powerful word because I think that failure is something that really is just a reminder that you tried. And that's kind of freaking epic to view it through that perspective instead of looking at it through the other lens, which is I didn't do something or I'm lacking or yeah, through a more like limited mind. So, here's me babbling on about failure because every time I've ever failed in my life, it's actually just led me towards developing more of myself. Like I've actually grown immensely from those failures. And often we have a negative connotation with the word failure as if it's something bad or as if, you know, we should shame ourselves or guilt ourselves or create a whole story around it. And we are incredible storytellers as humans. And I also think if we are too deeply in our human experience, we're missing out on the whole point, which is just living. And sometimes when we're too up here and not moving from here, it gets sticky. And that's okay. But I want to be a reminder that it's okay to fail and that failure isn't the end all be all of your experience or existence. And that every time you fail, there's always a deeper lesson. Like there's always a deeper thing or meaning or experience that hides beneath the structures that we've placed upon ourselves. And so if the structure falls down and crumbles, it's actually an opportunity for rebirth. It's like the idea that you are buried it's like the idea that you are planted, not buried, right? Like you're actually planted in your reality, and every time something fails or crumbles or doesn't go as planned, it's a redirection rather than a like destruction. And in ways, I guess destruction is also not a bad thing. Like destruction is also a part of our potential for reconstruction or birthing new things into reality, creation. So failure is not inherently bad or wrong or negative. It just is. And I think that when we fail, it's the attachments and the emotions and the connections that we have, attached to failure or experienced with failure because of, what we learned, which is failure is bad or wrong or negative, or what I learned, I should say, which is failure is not a good thing. And it's almost hilarious because at some point in life, you are going to fail. At some point, you are going to fall down. At some point, things are going to deconstruct. At some point, things are going to be destroyed, right? I like thinking in this lens of are we in a phase of destruction, creation, or sustaining? And sometimes it's a little bit of everything. And it's important in order to have, the rebirth or the new things or the new energy, the new experiences or the lessons and the growth that we obtain from those experiences, we have to fail. We have to destroy. We have to have things not work out. So that's why that concept of like you're actually not buried, you're planted in your reality every time something doesn't work out. It's a lesson and it's an opportunity for even more growth. And so instead of looking at it as like, oh, I failed, I didn't do the thing I said I was going to do, so now I'm going to shame myself for not doing it and create a whole cycle and spiral down into deeper depths of negativity. I'm thinking of like the emotional spiral. I think it's like John Flynn who created that emotional spiral. If you don't know what I'm talking about, maybe I'll try to insert it here, but essentially, like, when we are in one emotional state, we can either bring ourselves into a different emotional state or keep going down the spiral. Meaning, like, if we are at the state of failure, if we failed something, rather, this is my chaotic post matcha brain. If we failed something, and instead of looking at it as like, oh, I failed, okay, what did I learn from this experience? Or like, what can I do differently? Or can I just keep going and keep trying? And if we don't have that mindset, but we have the opposite, which is like, oh, I failed, I'm no good, why did I do that? Or all these things, and we start limiting believing and believing. You guys, I need to like move some energy in my body. This is hilarious. Limiting believing. I'm going to start saying that. Anyways, if we start experiencing limiting beliefs or lack mindsets around it, we then take ourselves from this space that could be equanimous and neutral, right? Like, I failed. Okay, I failed. And I can be there, and I can also like bring myself into maybe a higher vibrational state, versus I failed and now I'm in the shame spiral that maybe brings me into sadness or anger or fear or all these things. And those emotions aren't wrong or bad. They're just emotions and energy that we can experience. And it's also really important to recognize, like, not saying that you can prevent those emotions, but actually you can cultivate the opposite, which is like acceptance and trust and a higher frequency, which feels better. It literally feels better physiologically to vibrate at a higher frequency, to think thoughts that are more positive, that are more optimistic. If you are in the shame spiral, or you are experiencing those negative emotions of like, I failed at something and I didn't, hold my word or whatever it is, it's okay to feel that too. It's okay to feel the sadness and the anger that might come along with it. And also, it's important not to stay there, because there only takes you further into there. And it's like, that's when there's the conversation of there has to be a balance of feel your emotions, be with them, experience them, and also don't let them drive the vehicle. Don't let them drive through your life and navigate your life. Like, you are the GPS and you got yourself, and the emotions are a little bit of like the weather, or a little bit of the pathing that is bringing you to where you need to go. And we can veer off into one direction and really stay there if we are not remaining in a state of equanimity, or a state where we can allow ourselves to go here and know that we are the core foundation that creates and provides the container to do so. I feel like I'm speaking in code. I feel like I'm not really fully sure if you understand any of that, but I just felt like I wanted to share it. And I'm not even going to edit this. Like, I'm not going to take things out. I just decided I think life is messy, and sometimes we are messy, and messy is not a bad thing. So you can have my little mistakes and hiccups and all the things as well, because that's a part of me as well. And I think, yeah, I just want to really, really be raw on here and real. And so this is me taking my failure and saying, okay, I failed. I didn't show up in the way that I had originally planned or wanted to. And that's okay. Like, I feel okay with that. And old me would have been like, oh my God, you're not doing it, and you should do more, and you should be better, and you should be on top of it. And new me is like, well, I was just living my best life and had an incredible weekend and was working and doing so many fun things. And here I am back on YouTube, like, doing it again, showing up, putting in the reps, learning, creating repetition. Like, it takes repetition to build new habits and patterns and ways of existing. So here I am, starting new, starting over. And I'm just here to send you some light and some love, and remind you as well that wherever you are at and whatever you're experiencing or going through or growing through, it's okay. It's welcomed. It is so welcomed. Okay, my friends, I will see you in the next video. Subscribe if you want to see more of my face on the interwebs. And if you have any recommendations for videos, drop them in the comments. I would love to see what you would like to see or listen to or watch. Yay! Have a great life. Ciao.